by the fourth evening, I attained the base of the mound, which turned out to be much higher than it had appeared from a distance.
Okay.
An intervening valley setting it out in sharper relief from the general surface.
I'm so goosebumps because it's so gross.
Too weary to ascend, I slept in the shadow of the hill. I know not why my dreams were so wild that night.
Okay.
But ere the waning and fantastically gibbous moon had risen far above the eastern plain, I was awake in a cold perspiration, determined to sleep no more.
Oh.
Such visions as I had experienced were too much for me to endure again.
Yeah, madness. I think that will drive you madness because it's so surreal. It's like, imagine you're in the ocean and in the next moment everything is around you is like giant and gross and yeah.
And in the glow of the moon I saw how unwise I had been to travel by day. Without the glare of the parching sun, my journey would have cost me less energy. Indeed, I now felt quite able to perform the ascent which had deterred me at sunset. Picking up my pack, I started for the crest of the eminence.
Okay. But I have the feeling I'm missing a lot, but probably it would be shown.
I have said that the unbroken monotony of the rolling plain was a source of vague horror to me. But I think my horror was greater when I gained the summit of the mound and looked down the other side into an immeasurable pit or canyon.
Oh no. Oh no.
Whose black recesses the moon had not yet soared high enough to illumine.
It's amazing, but it's... please no more slugs.
I felt myself on the edge of the world.
Oh.
Peering over the rim into a fathomless chaos of eternal night.
No, just lightning and then everywhere for slugs and...
Through my terror ran curious reminiscences of Paradise Lost, and of Satan's hideous climb through the unfashioned realms of darkness.
Oh, lightning, it'll getting lighter.
As the moon climbed higher in the sky, I began to see that the slopes of the valley were not quite so perpendicular as I had imagined.
Yikes. Oh, no, please, no. Let's see.
Ledges and outcroppings of rock afforded fairly easy footholds for a descent.
What the hell?
Whilst after a drop of only a few hundred feet, the declivity became very gradual.
This looks very slippy. I wouldn't go there. Oh, yeah, of course. This is all what in all horror movies. Always the characters. I would just go away. I would just leave the place and say goodbye. Well, goodbye. I just. Well, always follow the trace, follow the dark tunnel, and die. It's always. Oh no.
Urged on by an impulse which I cannot definitely analyze, I scrambled with difficulty down the rocks and stood on the gentler slope beneath, gazing into the Stygian deeps, where no light had yet penetrated.
True horror is just, there's no other person, nobody. It's just us, this character alone, and really no civilization. Everything is dead. That's what makes it so uncomfortable. It makes it so uneasy because you don't know what, nothing is really to see and you know what to expect. This is really, the atmosphere is so intriguing. I really feel like...
All at once, my attention was captured by a vast and singular object on the opposite slope, which rose steeply about 100 yards ahead of me.
Okay, as I thought, aliens. Aliens, this is...
An object that gleamed whitely in the newly bestowed rays of the ascending moon.
Yeah, it's really so alien-like. Like a portal, really. And of course you will go there. Yeah, go to your death. Always. Yeah.
That it was merely a gigantic piece of stone, I soon assured myself. But I was conscious of a distinct impression that its contour and position were not altogether the work of nature.
Yes, this is... nature would never do something like this because this looks too perfect. This is alien work. Oh gosh. Here, the moon.
A closer scrutiny filled me with sensations I cannot express.
Yeah. Then go closer. Oh yeah, of course, go closer.
For despite its enormous magnitude and its position in an abyss which had yawned at the bottom of the sea since the world was young.
So it is from the back in the days.
I perceived beyond a doubt that the strange object was a well-shaped monolith. Whose massive bulk had known the workmanship and perhaps the worship of living and thinking creatures.
Okay.
Dazed and frightened, yet not without a certain thrill of the scientist's or archaeologist's delight, I examined my surroundings more closely.
I find it interesting how much he knows about this stuff. No, he's like, probably because he writes afterwards, but it's like, yeah, this is this and this, I know this, so it's really his knowledge impressed me. He knows a lot about this stuff, or how to describe it. Okay, we're getting closer, yeah, of course.
The moon, now near the zenith, shone weirdly and vividly above the towering steeps that hemmed in the chasm, and revealed the fact that a far-flung body of water flowed at the bottom, winding out of sight in both directions, and almost lapping my feet as I stood on the slope.
We know Cthulhu and stuff, they are aliens. They're from a different planet, so it is, yeah.
Across the chasm, the wavelets washed the base of the Cyclopean monolith, on whose surface I could now trace both inscriptions and crude sculptures.
Yeah, okay, this is like cats, and they're like, this looks like you see a little bit, and then like arrows, like, or some stones there down below. I don't know. I cannot see it really well. It looks like it's important.
The writing was in a system of hieroglyphics unknown to me, and unlike anything I'd ever seen in books.
Ah, yeah, this is Cthulhu, I believe. There, in the middle. Yeah, this is like a...
consisting for the most part of conventionalized aquatic symbols such as fishes, eels, octopi, crustaceans, mollusks, whales, and the like.
Mollusks, yeah, exactly. Okay.
Several characters obviously represented marine things which are unknown to the modern world.
Yes, indeed. And this looks like, yeah, a CDC. So, kind of, yeah.
But whose decomposing forms I had observed on the ocean-risen plain. It was the pictorial carving, however, that did most to hold me spellbound.
It looks... I mean, would I see something like that? I would also be... wanted to see what this is and took some pictures. Or whatever, but because... Okay. Storytelling methods. Dagon contains many themes and storytelling methods that Lovecraft developed in his later works, such as telling the story through caverns at the Mountain of Madness, the nameless city. Yeah, these are stories I know. Journals and characters' notes, The Shadow of the Time, The Hunter of the Dark, Islands emerging from the ocean, The Call of Cthulhu. Yes, of fictional beings and deities based on real events and mythologies, Migo and the Whispers of the Darkness. It's also considered the origin of the popular Cthulhu myths, Some of Lovecraft's other stories also conclude in a manner similar to Dagon, but let's skip the details in order to not to spoil the ending. Okay. I can kind of guess the ending.
Plainly visible across the intervening water on account of their enormous size were an array of bas-reliefs whose subjects would have excited the envy of a doré. I think that these things were supposed to depict men, at least a certain sort of men.
Yes.
Though the creatures were shown disporting like fishes in the waters of some marine grotto, or paying homage at some monolithic shrine which appeared to be under the waves as well. Of their faces and forms I dare not speak in detail, for the mere remembrance makes me grow faint. Grotesque beyond the imagination of a Poe or a Bulwer.
Are these the other ones, the other gods? Or are these the fishmen? They look like the fishmen a little bit. I don't know.
They were damnably human in general outline, despite webbed hands and feet, shockingly wide and flabby lips.
Yeah, the fishman, and he looks a little bit like Cthulhu, or like masks. I don't know.
Glassy, bulging eyes, and other features less pleasant to recall.
They're the fishmen.
Curiously enough, they seem to have been chiseled badly out of proportion with their scenic background. For one of the creatures was shown in the act of killing a whale, represented as but little larger than himself. I remarked, as I say, their grotesqueness and strange size, but in a moment decided that they were merely the imaginary gods of some primitive fishing or seafaring tribe.
Yup. They're whales. Yes, they're all whales.
Some tribe whose last descendant had perished eras before the first ancestor of the Piltdown or Neanderthal man was born. Awestruck at this unexpected glimpse into a past beyond the conception of the most daring anthropologist, I stood musing whilst the moon cast queer reflections on the silent channel before me. Then, suddenly, I saw it.
What? Oh no.
With only a slight churning to mark its rise to the surface, the thing slid into view above the dark waters.
Oh. Here we go.
Vast, Polyphemus-like and loathsome, it darted like a stupendous monster of nightmares to the monolith.
Yeah. Jump scare.
About which it flung its gigantic scaly arms, the while it bowed its hideous head and gave vent to certain measured sounds.
I mean, it was to expect as the water everything was, oh god, the vision. And
I think I went mad then.
Oh, yeah.
Of my frantic ascent of the slope and cliff, and of my delirious journey back to the stranded boat, I remember little.
Oh god, yeah, he really went mad, like, always.
I believe I sang a great deal, and laughed oddly when I was unable to sing.
Let's move out.
I have indistinct recollections of a great storm sometime after I reached the boat.
Alright.
At any rate, I know that I heard pearls of thunder and other tones which nature utters only in her wildest moods. When I came out of the shadows, I was in a San Francisco hospital, brought thither by the captain of the American ship which had picked up my boat in mid-ocean. In my delirium, I had said much, but found that my words had been given scant attention.
Oh. Yeah, I see. God is always there.
Of any land upheaval in the Pacific, My rescuers knew nothing, nor did I deem it necessary to insist upon a thing which I knew they could not believe.
They wouldn't believe it. Okay. Yeah, God, where are you? How you explain that? Creatures, huh? Oh, good. The journalist Lovecraft was a prominent figure in the world of amateur journalism. In 1915, he started publishing his own journals called The Conservative, which include political and social commentary, poetry, short stories, and literary criticism written by him and other authors. However, Howard was a skilled wordsman, but he also took criticism to heart, which resulted in his decision to step away from writing poetry and concentrate on weird fiction again. For the first time since his teenager years, Dagon, published in 1919, is one of the short stories written during that period. In this example, excerpt from The Conservative, the master of horror fictions explain his attitude towards warfare and the idea of world peace. Why any sane human being can believe in the possibilities of universal peace is more than the Conservative can fathom. Should the entire civilization world agree simultaneously to disarm, one of more nations would undoubtedly return secret armaments and at the proper time take advantage of their more altruistic and less astute counterparty in a wild career of conquest against unarmed victims. No country is or even can be above warfare until the basic impulse of the human-animal shall have causally changed. Alright, yeah. Ooh.
Once I sought out a celebrated ethnologist and amused him with peculiar questions regarding the ancient Philistine legend of Dagon, the fish god.
Yes. Okay, now, yeah, fish god, Dagon, yeah, Dagon. The name of... I was kind of, yeah. That's why the name was familiar. Yes. Okay. Dagon, here we go. Dagon was the main deity of the Philistines, worshipped throughout the Middle East as the ancient god of fertility and growth. In Hebrew, the word Dagon is a common noun of grain. The rulers of Akkad chose him as a patron saint of their war conquest. He also appeared as the judge of the death in an Assyrian poem, and an underworld prison rather is one of the Babylon's text. He's often mistakenly taken for a fish god due to the wrong interpretation of his name, as in Hebrew the word dag means fish. In H.P. Lovecraft's works, Dagon is an underwater deity ruling over the deep ones, a humanoid race with fish traits that resist in the ocean. He is worshipped by a secret cult called the Esoteric Order of Dagon. I like the Cthulhu Order. Everyone has the order. Okay, so Dagon, not the fish god, but yeah, they're all gods, kind of. Cthulhu is also a god from the alien. They're all aliens in the end, I believe. Kind of.
But soon perceiving that he was hopelessly conventional, I did not press my inquiries.
Oh, what? Okay, strange that we can... What is that? Okay. Argus Delph and the Cthulhu mythos. Argus Delph was an American writer and anarchist. He also befriended Lovecraft and published many of his works through his company Arkham House. Yeah. After he greatly contributed to the popularity of the author's works. After his death, he is surrounded by numerous controversies. One of the most questionable decisions involved introduction the good versus evil doctrine. Deleuze was a devout Catholic to the Cthulhu mythos, which contrasted with Lovecraft's view of the world and his approach to cosmic horror. As a result, the author's work are often misunderstood and misinterpreted in today's culture. It's also worth noting Lovecraft was never really interested in creating a mythology, and the term Cthulhu mythos was coined by Deleuze after the author left the mortal plane. As I said, this Lovecraft was writing his stories, but all the other things like the Cthulhu cult and stuff, mythology, was coming down from other artists. They were creating it. So basically, he just gave the little concepts and the little short stories, but later in the books, the other authors and writers would do them more. How should be? Alrighty then. So yeah. But I freaking love it. No, love the stories. This is really the surreal story. It's 10 o'clock, okay? I've missed. Oh!
It is at night, especially when the moon is gibbous and waning, that I see the thing.
Okay, we are here again.
I tried morphine. But the drug has given only transient surcease, and has drawn me into its clutches as a hopeless slave. So now I am to end it all, having written a full account for the information or the contemptuous amusement of my fellow men.
Oh, so he will kill him. So he killed himself because, yeah, he cannot deal with this madness because of what he saw and everything. Lovecraft on tobacco and alcohol. Okay. Lovecraft hated tobacco, even though he used to smoke when he was 12, in order to look and feel like an adult. In his correspondence with friend Reinhard Kleiner, he claims that he quit as soon as he started wearing long pants. Okay. He also had a very strong opinion about alcohol, as invented by his letter to Celia Brown, dated. Okay. As for the matter of drinking, I have never tasted intoxicating liquor, and never intend to, having a strong aesthetic disgust at anything which blunts or coarsen the delicate natural overflows of the aloof human intellect and imagination. Drinking excited my personal repugnance. Hence I don't drink. Let the hero do what they will. I'm rather in favor of prohibitions. The prohibitions of any of the antisocial forces as well as the other one. So is the spirit of version of Lovecraft. Okay. I mean, the same. I don't smoke, I don't drink, I don't take any drugs, so yeah. I don't need it to be excited or to write the stuff. You don't need to drink or to drink drugs. Yeah, you can write about it and read. So I'm also a writer. That's, yeah, but that's how it goes.
Often I ask myself if it could not all have been a pure phantasm, a mere freak of fever, as I lay sun-stricken and raving in the open boat after my escape from the German man-of-war. This I ask myself, but ever does there come before me a hideously vivid vision in reply. I cannot think of the deep sea without shuddering at the nameless things that may at this very moment be crawling and floundering on its slimy bed, worshipping their ancient stone idols and carving their own detestable likenesses on submarine obelisks of water-soaked granite. I dream of a day when they may rise above the billows to drag down into their reeking talons the remnants of puny, war-exhausted mankind. Of a day when the land shall sink and the dark ocean shall ascend amidst universal pandemonium. end is near. I hear a noise at the door, as of some immense slippery body lumbering against it.
Goodbye.
It shall not find me. God, that hand!
Uh-oh.
The window! The window!
Not good. Oh. Thank you for playing. We hope you enjoyed immersing yourself in our little pool of cosmic horror. Would appreciate if you took a moment to rate Dagon and check out our other games and DLCs. Yeah, in a moment not, but I will do it later. Yeah. It had just one jump scare, you can say. Well, with the fisherman coming, in the end he jumped into his death because of his madness, because he thinks there are coming someone. So credits. Game created by Hubert Morse. Marketing, writing, additional wheel design Melchich Gorney. Story writing by Howard Phillips Lovecraft 1917. So yeah, so this, no, the story itself is from Lovecraft, but they make it like that. Voiceovers, Martin Owen Warm Voice. Perfect. His voice is perfect for this kind of this character. I must really say, for a little game, indie game, you can really say like that, amazing. I was entertained. I was really like into this, and interesting all the little facts we get about really weird stuff that happened about Lovecraft and co. And yeah, trivia. Okay, we have not. Okay, as I thought, so that we missed a lot, but secret. Probably I will do it by myself again and look a little bit if I found it. This is kind of the horror I loved. It was more atmosphere, it was more auch story, it was not really like jump scare and you running away from something, so really like finding out, adventure type. So good thing. That's for that. Then I wish you a great weekend and we'll see us next week to another game. Probably. So bye bye.